Hello folks, welcome back to the Wikipedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. So today again we'll continue with the topic, the meeting of the board and its powers. Right? So what have we covered in the previous lecture? It was a very small topic, a very small provision of section 181, right, where we talked about the contribution to the charitable fund. Right? So what was the provision of that section? It was just that if you want to make a contribution, you could pass a board resolution and make a contribution up to 5% of the average net profit of the 3 preceding financial years. Right? And if at any point of time you want to go beyond that 5%, you would have to pass a resolution in the general meeting. Right? So when we talk about resolution in the general meeting, we always mean it is an ordinary resolution. If it is a special resolution, it is always specified in the provision. Right? And we have discussed the 2-3 kind of questions that have been asked in the examination. Either it's a direct question, or you can get a googly where you're talking about the same thing but you are not talking about the charitable fund. So you'll have to analyze whether or not the contribution that you are going to make is a contribution to the charitable fund. If it is not, it will be outside the purview of section 181. Right? And the third kind of question is that you could get a clubbed question along with section 180, along with section 180, right? Subsection 1, any of the clause A, B, C or D. Right? Over there you would be given an additional data of the preceding 3 financial years, and then you will just have to plot the numbers on a calculator and get the answer and decide whether the limit in the question specifies is beyond the 5% of the net profit. If yes, then you need to pass an SR as well, otherwise the board resolution would be enough. That is all. That is the only kind of question that could be asked in that provision of section 181, and a very small section. So today we'll move ahead, we'll cover the provisions of section 182 that talks about the political contribution. Right? So when you're talking about political contribution, it becomes a little more difficult as in there are minute things that you need to understand and you need to actually consider while you're making political contribution. There are limits prescribed, right, because that is actually made for the purpose that the political parties do not get excess funding. Right? You should not hamper your business for funding the political parties. There is a limit prescribed. You want to make contribution, go ahead. Right? But again, there are limits on the companies that are allowed and that are disallowed. They are not allowed to make political contribution, and that has basically been framed, right, with an intention to play fair in the market, or to play fair in the politics as well. Right? What can some political parties do is that they could establish a company, right? They could incorporate a company, and then they could take loan or they could take contribution from that company for their own party. That would help them increase their fund, right? And that could help them in legitimate utilization of the fund. Otherwise, they have a hell lot of money behind the desk, below the desk, right? And the money that is not accounted for, they use it for their political purposes, right, for their campaign. But if they want some legal money, then this is one way from where they could route. Right? So basically, the political contributions are prohibited for government companies and those companies that have been into existence for less than 3 years. Right? Just to avoid this misuse of the power of the political parties. Right? So we would go into detail about learning this section. It is an interesting section, and you have been asked questions in the past. So as usual, we would be covering the provisions of the section, and then we would discuss the questions. So before proceeding point-wise with the provisions of this section, right, we would discuss the 5 basic requirements or the 5 basic conditions that need to be satisfied before making a political contribution. Right? So they are that the company should not be a government company, number 1. Number 2 is that company should have been in existence for more than 3 years. Right? Number 3, you have been given a limit of 7.5% of the average net profit of the immediately preceding 3 financial years. Right? Number 4 is that you could make it only by passing a resolution in the board meeting. Right? And number 5 is that you should disclose your contribution in the profit and loss account, right, along with the name of the party and the amount that you have contributed. So this is the basic requirement. Right? Now we'll go point wise with the provisions of section 182. So section 182 says that a government company and a company that has been in existence for less than 3 years are strictly prohibited from making any contribution to the political party. Right, and we have told you why this is so, because even the government companies are under the control of the government. The government has 50%, more than 50% stake in the government company, so they can manipulate it. Right, they can manipulate it. They could actually, it's on them to decide. If they want a lot of funding, they would just get the funding flowing out of the government company. So the government company is strictly prohibited. They cannot make even 1 rupee contribution to the political party. Right, and even we have talked about the situation of the new companies. Why are they prohibited? These are the two basic prohibitions. Right, now the other companies that are making the contribution, even they have a limit. Right, at any point of time they should not exceed 7.5% of the average net profit of the 3 preceding financial years. Right, so this is the maximum limit. In any situation you can not contribute more than 7.5%. Right, and then what the act says, what the provision actually says, is that you will have to pass a resolution in the board meeting only. That means you cannot pass a resolution by circulation, neither can you delegate this power to the committee or the MD or manager or anybody. You cannot authorize any other person to take over this power. So if you want to make a political contribution, it is an important decision. Right, so make the contribution, but for that you will have to pass a resolution only in the board meeting. So you will have to remember this point as well. Right, and then the last point is that you will have to disclose it in your P&L account. That yeah, this is the party, BJP, Congress, whatever it is, this is the contribution we have made to that party. Right, this is our expense. That is it. Right. So now we see, what do we actually mean by political contribution? When we are talking about political contribution, what is that contribution actually? Right, so we have we'll see the provisions of what are the political contribution directly and indirectly as well. We'll see the other aspects also. Right, what are the contributions that we will consider or we will deem it necessary to be considered as political contribution. Right, so if you make any donation, first of all is donation to the political parties directly. We have seen the limit for that. Next is if you want to make any donation to any person who is carrying on an activity, right, which can reasonably be regarded as likely to affect the public support for the political party. Right, that means you are giving your money, you're not donating anything to the political party directly, but you are giving some amount to Mr. X. What is Mr. X doing? Mr. X is actually promoting the propaganda of the political party. He is actually going on for the campaigning for the political party, and you say we have given funding to Mr. X. We have not given it to say Congress or BJP, but that is not done. If you are making such contribution and that fund is actually, we would actually see the end use of the fund. So if the end use of the fund is for the support of the political party or for gaining support from the public for the political party, that would be considered as political contribution. Right? Next is expense on advertisement on publication. Now when we talk about advertisement in the publication, so if that company is going ahead to make an advertisement in any of the publication and that would directly or indirectly benefit the political party, right, that means they're giving a publication on behalf of the political party, that is direct. Right, so that means if I would have given some money to the political party, what would they do? They would utilize it for their campaign. What is the campaign? They would give out an advertisement in the publication. Right, so now what they want is that since your law prohibits you, since your Companies Act prohibits you to give me more donation beyond 7.5%, do one thing, give me 7.5% in cash, right, and rest you please make payment for this advertisement, make payment for this publication. That is indirect. Ultimately what you're doing is, rather than routing that amount from the political party, you're giving it directly to the advertisers or to the publishers. Right, so even that would be considered to be political contribution. Now maybe you have given the amount to the publisher, but they are not directly publishing something on behalf of the political party, right, but still whatever they are publishing is directly or indirectly adding to the advantage of that political party. If that is the scenario, again then that payment that you have made will be considered as political contribution. And the aggregate of all the payments that you are making, would be checked with the limit of 7.5%. If you're below that, well and good. If you cross that limit, you would be liable to penalties. Right? That would be considered to be a contravention of section 182. Right? And you would be punished for the same. Right? So when we are basically talking about the political contribution, it could be in any form. You are either contributing money directly, or you're giving them as donation. You call it a donation. Okay, we are donating this much money to the political party. We're not contributing to their campaign, we are donating it. That is the same thing, right? If you're taking any subscription from the political party, or you're making any payment on behalf of the political party, all those would be considered to be political contribution, right? Whether you give it directly, you make the payment, or you give it indirectly via an agency. Right? You cannot say that, okay, I am not making the payment, I have given 2 crore rupees to the agency, and agency has utilized it in his way. That is beyond my bandwidth. That is beyond my concern. Then that does not mean that you would escape. Right? Because indirectly, if we see, then the purpose of your giving money to that agency is to help the political party. Otherwise, why do you give money to that agency? If you have given the money and you want him to launch a campaign for your company, then he would print or publish something on the benefit or for your company itself. But that is not the case. That means you will be deemed to have made contribution to the political party, right? Because you have made payments for their own benefits, right? Now we'll see what are the disclosure requirements, right? So the disclosure requirement, as we have already discussed, is the disclosure in the profit and loss account about the name of the political party and the amount contributed. You do not need to write the mean, right? Or if it is an agency involved, you will not write the name of the agency, you will write the name of the political party. Okay, although I have made payment via an agency, but I have made payment to the political party for their benefit. This is the party whom I am supporting, this is the party to whom I have made some contribution, and this is the amount of contribution I have made. Right? That is the disclosure that you will be making in your P&L account. Now, what if there is a contravention for this section? We had discussed it, that if there is a contravention, they would be liable to penalty. Now, what are those penalties? Right? First of all, why will the penalty be attracted? First, if you are a government company or a newly established company, you have not been established for more than 3 years, and still you have made some contribution to the political party. That is not allowed, right? So you would be liable to punishment. Otherwise, if you are contained in the other section of the company, other than the government company and the company for existence for less than 3 years, right? If you are in the other category and you are making a contribution more than 7.5%, that means if you are going beyond the limit, you would be liable to penalty. Because going beyond the limit is not permissible at all. Within the limit, it is the discretion of the board. The board will pass a resolution at the board meeting. But if you want to go beyond 7.5%, that doesn't mean that you can pass a special resolution, or you can take the permission from the central government, or specify something in an article and then you can make the contribution. No. Neither the article, nor the memorandum, nor the central government, nor the special resolution. Nothing would be useful. No one can authorize you to make a contribution of more than 7.5%. So that is the maximum limit. You cannot make contribution beyond that. If you're doing so, you would be liable to penalty. Right? And what is the penalty? Basically, the penalty for the company is 5 times the amount of contribution. So if you have contributed 2 crore rupees and you are caught, you will make a penalty of 10 crore rupees. So you had to make, for example, a contribution of 7.5%, and that comes to 75 lakh, right? But since the political party says, no, we need more funding, give us some more money, and you give them 5 crore rupees, okay, take it. Right? What does that mean? That means you are screwed. If you are caught, you will have to bear a penalty that would be equivalent to 25 crores now, which is 5 times your contribution. Right? It is very severe. And also to the directors or the officers who are guilty, they will go to the jail for 6 months, they will be imprisoned for 6 months, and they will also make a contribution of 5 times the political contribution that they have made. So the penalty would actually be 10 times, 5 times to the company and 5 times to the director. So better do not cross these limits. Be in your limit, contribute it equally and as per the law. Right? Now, before discussing, now if you can see, we have around 4, 5, 6, 7 questions that have been asked in your previous examinations. We'll be discussing it. But before that, we will discuss a notification that was given by the MCA. The MCA had given a circular in the year 2013, right? And according to it, you could also make a contribution to the electoral trust, right? And now, what is the purpose of electoral trust? They make contribution to political parties. So if the political parties, they want some contribution, they would approach the electoral trust that, okay, you are conducting the election, please help us out with this funding, right? So electoral trust is basically the trust that is managing the entire election. So even if you are making a contribution to the electoral trust, right, and you want to make it for the benefit of maybe the Congress or BJP or whatever it is, and you think that, okay, I'll escape, I'm not making it to any political party, I'm giving it to the entire election commission, but that is also not required. Even for that, you have the same limit, right? The only thing that you escape by making a contribution to the electoral trust is the disclosure, because when you are making a contribution to the electoral trust, you do not have to specify the name of the company, because you have not given to any company as such, you have given it to the entire electoral trust in general, right? So what you do is you will only have to say that, okay, I have contributed this amount to the electoral trust for election purpose, and this is the amount. Disclose it into your P&L account, right? And which is the party that is utilizing the fund, what is the source of utilization, and where is it spent, and these kind of details will be maintained by the electoral trust. So that is none of our concern anymore. That is the concern of the electoral trust, right? So since there are lot many questions to discuss, around 7-8 questions, so it's better if you pick it up in the next lecture, right? Because today we'll have some constraint of time in the lecture. We'll pick these questions up in the next lecture and discuss it and be done with it. And along with it, we'll not just discuss the questions, we'll also discuss the next section, right? We'll cover all of them in the next class itself, right? So until then, you stay tuned. This is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you. Bye-bye.